again, surviving my 80s, and today I'm canning some dry beans, and this is not meant to be a tutorial, but rather an encouragement. I've never canned dried beans before. I've canned carrots and corns and beans and chicken and other things, but never dried beans. So it's never too late to learn. And lots of times you learn by mistake. So I'm going to tell you something I've already done that I'm not going to repeat. I soaked my beans overnight, actually more than 12 hours, to get that, the phytic acid off of them that protects the seeds that we don't want to eat. And I was going to can the beans that I had, which were a red bean and a white bean. But I didn't quite have enough. I thought, I'm going to put mine in pints. It's going to take about 4.5 cups of beans to fill that. And just to be on the safe side, I added a little bit more. But I only had 3 cups of my red beans and white beans. So what I did, I had some, and I'm not going to say this quite right, it's a Navajo word, Anasazi beans, and which is a very good bean. It's up there with black bean, not quite the same amount of protein, but over the board potassium, calcium, iron, and minerals. So they're an extremely good bean. They're also called cave beans. They were found in New Mexico, and I think where I got them from was Adobe Mills in Colorado, I think, or New Mexico. But anyway, they do not cook as long as the others, so that I'll not do that again. But what I've done now, I've sterilized my jars. You can't see them probably, but they're behind me here. My canner is on. This particular canner I use takes about 1.5 inches in the bottom, which is about 3 quarts of water, more or less. And it's a little over 1.5 inches, but I didn't want it under. Okay, and it doesn't have a seal between them. It's one of those type of canners. It's really good. The brand is All American. But so that's on there heating. My beans are in the kettle. I soaked them, drained them, rinsed them, and then put them in to sort of simmer for 30 minutes. Now the Anasazi beans shouldn't probably have simmered that long, but I'll see when I'm all done and haven't canned what I've come up with. So, and the lids and the rings I've washed with hot soapy water. They don't need to be sterilized. They changed the rules on that, so they're all ready to go. And so I'm going to turn it off now and fill them because, like I say, this is not a tutorial. It's just an encouragement. And so I'm going to fill them and start canning them, and you'll see them afterwards. Okay, there you go, and there you have it. Okay, I have filled 3 of the jars completely and put the seals and rings on them. And I was using the juice from what I cooked the beans in, but the last 4 jars here doesn't quite have enough, so I plan to put the hot water to top it off, and then I'll put the okay. I hope I didn't get that one too full. No. I'm keeping the beans down a ways because they're going to swell up, and I want to give that inch from the top. Okay. Now, when I put them in my canner, I'll can them at 10 pounds pressure because I am at sea level. And if you're above 1,000, what am I looking for? Oh, above 1,000 feet, you want to go to 15 pounds. But I'm at 23 feet sea level here. Okay, I want to just make sure I have nothing, that these are clean. And for a pint, oh, and we decided to go pints because that'll just be a nice amount for the two of us. And I'm going to move this just a little bit and get my salt. For a quart, you'd put in a teaspoon, and a pint you can put in a half a teaspoon. But I don't want to put in that much. I can add salt after they're done. So I'm just putting in a generous quarter of a teaspoon. Okay. And now for the lids. Okay, wait just a minute. I'm not sure if you can still see that after I moved it or not. I'll put it back. And I'm just going to finger tight the lids on. Those I'll be taking off when I get, tomorrow, the rings. It's better to take them off than to leave them on. Okay, they're ready to put in the canner. I'm going to turn you off, put them on, and then I'll put the lid on my canner and start putting it down. And before I start my canning time, which pints will be 65 minutes, that's an hour and 5 minutes, quarts would be 90 minutes, which is an hour and a half. Anyway, before I set that timer to can them, I want my canner to vent, exhaust to go out the vent pipe before I put on my jiggler. So that will exhaust 10 minutes, put the jiggler on, and then I'll start my timing. So I'll see you in a bit, and there you have it. Well, it is all finished, and it took a while, and in the meantime, we had our lunch. We did a little of nothing, and we planted some plants in the garden, and tomorrow it's supposed to rain. That doesn't look right. There is a funny thing in one of these. There's a funny thing in this one. Huh. Oh, they look beautiful. They look absolutely beautiful. Don't touch. Okay, I got 7 jars. There's 2 with, I don't know, I'm not touching them. It just looked like, I don't know, the bean looked a little different inside of it. So there it is. The first time that I've ever canned dry beans. I've done green beans, but there they are. So it should be an encouragement that this is something, learn something new or do something new. It's never too late. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Bye now.